Hey everybody, this is All Access Pass with Brian Summers. We're going behind the scenes with some of the CNC and Mastercam superstars in the business. And today we have a very special guest, Titan Gilroy of Titans of CNC. How you doing, Titan?
I'm doing great, Brian. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, thanks for chatting with me for a few minutes. Appreciate it. So can you tell me a little bit about, what you guys do at Titans of CNC Academy?
Yeah, it's actually a little difficult to explain, but let's just say we're a very high-end machine shop, right? We got to start making incredible parts for the aerospace industry, for Blue Origin, SpaceX, all these different companies and stuff. And we just came to a place where we're like, hey, kids aren't getting into the trade. We got a skills gap. Education is suffering. So we actually made a pivot, and we actually created this incredible manufacturing facility in Texas. And it's basically a film studio also, because we actually make curriculum and we give it free to all students, all schools, and all manufacturers around the world, so we can lift up our trade and actually get serious about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's such a great thing for young people to get involved in and get going with manufacturing. So you guys work with Mastercam. Awesome. So can you just describe a little bit how you work with our product?
Yeah, no, I mean, Mastercam is the engine that makes everything go. I mean, everybody looks at a rocket. SpaceX just blasted off the SN-15. This thing's going to go to Mars, go to the moon and stuff. So, when you look at each of the components, made out of super alloys and different types of materials and stuff, we got to take that raw stock and we have to figure out how to actually put it into these big machines and actually put code into the machines and run those parts, right? So we use Mastercam to actually do that. And I've used Mastercam for over 20 years. Absolutely awesome. Love it. And now we teach it on our academy, so everyone can actually learn it.
That's phenomenal. It just gives everybody a chance to get familiar with Mastercam. And I think that's the first time we've ever been compared to a rocket engine. So I appreciate that. Yeah. So how did you, just a little bit about your background again, how did you start and where were some of the skills needed to get going on this industry?
Start in the industry, like from the beginning?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big advocate, and I think that, I talk to people all over the world, and a lot of people, my story resonates with people because I came from nothing. I came from being homeless on the beach. I grew up in Hawaii, only white kid in my neighborhood, and there was no manufacturing there. There was pineapples and sugarcane, and I had literally no future. And, it's a long story, but eventually I would end up on the mainland. I walk into a machine shop, and my mind would be blown. I didn't even have a car growing up. We were hitchhiking places, and all of a sudden I'm in front of a $100,000 machine. And there's many different things in life. Like I had no idea that I could ever do anything. Like I had no hope. But when I hit that machine, all of a sudden my mind opened, and I just had a talent for it. And I started at $9 an hour, and within a year, I was the head programmer and running the shop. And it just took off from there. And that's why manufacturing saved my life. It gave me an opportunity, gave me the life that I have, and that's why I'm such a big advocate for it. Because you don't have to go to college, you don't have to do these things. If you can solve problems and help companies make their components at a low price right here, on U.S. soil or wherever you are. You can be successful. So
yeah, what a great story. Just coming from that background and just being so successful now. That's awesome. So both you and I are, I guess, to some degree, ambassadors of CNC in the industry. And me personally, I have a great interest in, of course, being tied with Mastercam, just seeing what Mastercam makes around the world. We have anything from aerospace to musical instruments to medical, just some great stories. And but in terms of the passion for CNC in the industry, I guess you explained this a little bit, but can you talk a little bit about why you're such a strong advocate for manufacturing?
Yeah, in 08 and 09, like I started my shop in 2005, and in Northern California got an award for being the fastest growing company in the whole region, and went from 0 to 55 employees in 3 years. Went from having no money in my pocket to, you know, making $1 million a month within 3 years and just solving problems on manufacturing. But then 08, 09 hit, and it didn't matter what problems that I solved, didn't matter anything. You know, the economy was falling, and I literally watched as everybody else did 50,000 companies go out of business. And at that time, I was like a football player, like a sports team. I was taking pride that I was out competing all these machine shops, and they were doing it an old way, and they just couldn't comprehend it. People have been in the industry for a long time. They were like, this guy's going to go out of business because there's no way that he can quote this low. And I was like, I'm making 40% profit after everything's said and done.
Amazing.
Because I think differently than you know, and stuff. So I was like proud that I was actually out competing people. But when I saw everybody going out of business and I laid off 40 employees, all of a sudden I stepped back and I was like, whoa, there's a problem here, because people don't talk. There's intellectual property and NDAs, and our kids, nobody's showing that we're making rockets. We're doing all these different things. And it's not, you know, on TV. It's not sexy. It's not like, you know, just the media doesn't cover it, right? So I got it in my head that like something's got to change and stuff. And it's just the craziest thing. One day, you know, I was asked to go to Pittsburgh to speak at this huge pro convention, like for the pro department and stuff. They wanted somebody who used to be in trouble, who made it out to come speak. And that event changed my life. And I got on a plane and I was like, you know, I went back to my office and all of a sudden I got a call from somebody from the Discovery Channel. And it just clicked, like we need to do a TV show and stuff. And that's how I got started. But through the whole show, I realized that every time I went to a city, and when I went to Detroit, when I went to Virginia, wherever I went to the schools, and I realized that the teachers are heroes, but they don't have the money, they don't have the resources, they don't have the R&D, they don't have the support to actually have a high level program. And when it comes to real manufacturing, where it is a grind and you have to compete, they were on such a tiny level. And then these kids are coming out thinking they're going to make money, and they don't, because they can't solve the right problem. So I knew that there was a problem. Like it's education, it's training. Like everybody thinks it's grand, but from a real standpoint, it's not. So I had that in my head, and then all of a sudden, San Quentin Prison, the state of California, asked for my help, and they said, "Hey, we have this machine shop. It's almost 100 years old, and it's locked in chains, and it's obsolete." And I was like, "Hey, here's an opportunity." And I went in there on my third season of the show, and I basically built a school. And then we took that curriculum, put it online for free, and that's how everything started. And then all of a sudden, I just have a love now for teaching. I can make all these incredible parts for all these incredible companies, but I have more passion, and I can probably make more money doing that too. But I love this trade. It saves me. And that's where my passion comes from, because now we have 120,000 students right now on our academy learning for free, and we're teaching them high level stuff, and we're just taking it to the moon with the help of Mastercam.
That's amazing. What what an incredible story, and, you know, way to come about. And, you know, in a lot of ways, you know, having that practical shop experience versus, you know, simply just going to a school, you know, it's so much greater. That's awesome. So I want to talk a little bit too about kind of being a business owner. And I think, you know, for me, and joining my brothers in 1986, as we talked about earlier, you know, a lot of what I've learned is kind of on the job. You know, we, you know, grew from just 3 people, and now we have about 220, and it's been interesting. And, you know, a few jobs when we were younger, actually all 3 of the brothers, myself and my other 2 brothers, we used to rototill gardens. So we used to have to advertise, we used to have to go and do the job and then charge. And so, you know, things like that are, you know, the basis for, you know, trying to understand and figuring out how to run a company. So it was pretty interesting. So from a pure business owner, you know, piece of it, how do you, what are some of the things, you know, young people can do to really understand how to run a business and to be successful?
You know, I think that that's a loaded question. You know, one of the greatest pieces of advice that I was given early on from my first employer was like, Titan, if you can solve people's problems, you'll always be successful. And I've held on to it, and it is so true. So many of us want to like do we want to do something because we like it, but we have to actually take an honest look at it and say, how many people are in that arena, and is it really, do we have an advantage, and are we actually solving real problems that people are willing to pay for, right? So I think that one, you got to take a realistic look. You got to be first at something, or reinvent something that you can solve the right problem. And even before that, though, I think that a lot of people want to get in so fast. We're in a world where everybody wants everything right now. But in this industry, in manufacturing, we have to slow down, and we actually have to, I don't say slow down that much, but in the thought process, we have to slow down, and we have to really understand what is it that we're trying to bring and how is it different. And we need to take our skills to the highest level. Making a part is not good enough. How efficient is it? How are you solving the problems? What is different? And you just really have to take your expertise to the highest level so that you can actually go to the right companies, to the right customers, and sell yourself in a way that they get it, right? Saying, I can make parts, that's just not good enough. You have to be exceptional, and you have to solve people's problems and stuff. And that's what I did. I was in with the subsea industry, coming up into 08, 09, and I was building titanium parts. I had big Toyota horizontals, and we're just, 4x4s of titanium chips just going out, at 20-something machines. And we were making titanium parts at incredible speeds. And all of a sudden, all the work stopped. All these 200 ships got put on hold, and I had no work. But then I looked at the aerospace industry, all these rocket companies coming up. I'm like, you know what? They have, they're machining hard materials, and I'm used to this. I can actually solve their problems. And I went in to go sell myself to these people that I could actually make them money and give them great components in quality components. And I would turn it around in 2 days if I needed to. I would drive down in a weekend and stuff. So you just got to have that grit, that determination, but you got to have the skills, and you got to be able to sell yourself.
Absolutely. And I think, we can definitely draw a parallel to, the beginnings of Mastercam as well, where, we're solving people's problems and making their jobs a lot easier. And, with each customer, they had different requests. And, at one point we could only do contouring, and then pocketing. And then after that, pocketing with some islands. So, as you visit each customer, they have a different set of challenges. And I think you're right. I think that core, that nucleus of what drives the business is the ability to solve people's problems. And once you can do that, the rest becomes a little bit easier. Awesome.
Yeah. I would just say like we're like family, right? Because I just met you right now. I know Megan, I know everybody, but at the end of the day, you're the tool that I've used to basically succeed, right? So I remember when you guys first started doing subs, and you first started doing all these different things and stuff. The truth is, I don't want to program. I want to be on a machine making chips, right? Mm-hmm. So over the years, you guys have just created such a platform that makes it so simple to create incredible tool paths in record time that allow for just zero error, and allows me to just put that program in that machine and make that part perfect. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters, is that machine running. Not how long I'm going to spend. Anybody can program, but it's how long is it taking you, and how perfected are those moves? How much space do you have? You know what I mean? You got to stay in that cut and stuff. So no, I just am super impressed with Mastercam and the whole evolution and stuff. And that's why I proudly support you guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, to your point, since we had some of those basic things so long ago, really, we've spent our entire careers just making the program easier for the user and then more efficient on the machine. So, between, the calculations, the speed and the tool motion, it kind of boils down to that, efficiency of machining on the once it gets to the machine.
Absolutely.
So, and then just lastly, what's next? We can see it's funny because, since I started, some things are very similar and remain the same, but, we have a lot of things that have changed, the data that's available to us. But how do you see the industry changing, and what do we see for the future?
Well, I think everything's getting high tech. I think that you know, the industry's opened up. You know, when I started, like I was reading books, thick books, right, to figure out how to program and stuff. And now you can literally go on YouTube, go to Titans of CNC, Mastercam, go to our academy. People are starting businesses they've never even machined before. They can go up there, go through all the Mastercam tutorials on the academy and literally learn how to machine, buy a machine, and make their products and stuff. So manufacturing is available to everybody. I think that now, because of the education, you know, you don't have to outsource parts. You know, we have in Boombastic, we're going to be showing how to like set up complete live tooling, not live tooling, but just lights out machining. Like, how do you, like, from concept to finished parts, so you can just make 100,000 parts that never stop, and you don't even need somebody standing there and stuff. If you can make your cell phones in China and it's automated, why can't we do it here, right? So I just think that manufacturing is just open to everybody. You got Tormach that started like $6,000-$7,000 that you can actually put in your garage, so you didn't have to go to college to actually learn this trade now. So that is exciting. For Titans of CNC, we're just having fun. You know, we had 20,000 square feet in California. Now we're in Texas. We got 40,000 square feet. We're bringing in, you know, nobody's ever like brought in like $1.7 million machines and said, hey, this is for education, this is for teaching. You know, nobody's like brought in big horizontals and said, this is for education. But you know what? If you want to compete as a country, you need to like learn real machines and real technologies, and you need to learn how to make real parts efficiently, right? So with having Mastercam, having, you know, the right machinery and the right tooling, putting it all together, we're basically just taking our secrets that we learned in the industry, we're giving it to everybody else so that everybody can compete and do something in this industry. And we're taking everything to the highest level. I go to IMTS every 2 years, love it. Go to EMO, people stand up there in their suits, they talk about the skills gap, they talk about all these different things. Every 2 years, they say the exact same thing. Megan told me, I don't want to like put her on the spot, but she went to a convention and everybody's like, we need to like save the industry. We need to do all these different things. She made follow-up calls, like, let's actually do this. But you know what? The platform, everybody, there wasn't, you know what I mean? It all just kind of died off. And I watched all of this, like we see eye to eye on it. And I'm like, you know what? We need to do something. And if nobody's ever made curriculum for everybody, you know? So I'm like, we have, so let's actually just double down on it. Let's take huge risks. This is a crazy industry. So let's just take chances and go big with it and teach from the bottom level all the way to the top, from the fundamentals, how to put a vice, how to indicate, how to program simple parts, how to program, you know, complex 5-axis parts. We have the Aerospace Academy, how to do crazy Inconel, Monel, A286, like how to actually do these incredible parts and stuff. But let's actually just take it to the highest level, and nobody else is doing it. So I'm having fun with it. It's like the Academy is my impossible part that I sold myself to these aerospace companies and said, you know, I can do that. Like, we're going to do that incredible part, and we're going to deliver it, and it's going to be perfect. Now we're having fun with the Academy and just building it out and making it amazing. And yeah, we thank you guys for your support.
Yeah, and we thank you for you know, all the training material. And it's all about, you know, trained users, and the more we have of them, you know, the more people are getting into manufacturing and making some incredible parts here in the country. So
That's
excellent.
Awesome. I would say that there is the skills gap. If you're a huge company, stop talking about the skills gap. You have an academy. We are giving you all the resources to bring in-house training, and you can literally take people from Home Depot, from McDonald's, from anywhere, and you can bring them in and teach them the trade in your own shop, because you have free curriculum, free all the documentation, everything at your disposal now. There's a million people out there that would love to be in this trade. They just don't know about it. So we got to bring awareness, and then we have to train them up, and we need to have passion, like people like yourselves who've done big things in this industry. We just got to give back and get people excited about the trades, because this is what our country was built on, and this is important to all countries.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's going to be fun to watch it grow, and that's great.
Awesome.
All right. Well, that's a wrap for today. I really appreciate your time and your your expertise, your experience, wisdom. All that stuff is great, and the work you're doing is just fantastic. And again, if we can train the younger people of our country, and really anybody that wants to get into CNC and manufacturing, we have an incredible way to do it. For those watching, just check out Titans of CNC. You get all the training material you want. You can get special deals on Mastercam and so forth, and the tools are there for you to learn. So it's great. All right,
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is a wrap on All Access Pass, and really appreciate you going behind the scenes and tell us a little bit about your story. So it's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Brian.
Thanks, Titan. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
See ya.